All right, here we go, Khalid.
Yes, sir.
Okay, bro. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning into a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this afternoon. We have a magnificent guest with us today, one who is going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than our brother Khalid Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, Brother Joshua.
Yes, sir. And on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast, we want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come have a conversation with us on the People's Podcast. This has been a long time in the making, and so many people have spoken very highly of you. And thank you, Mimi. My sister Miriam says, "Awesome, like family." Thank you, everybody who's watching already. And I just want to let you know, Brother Khalid, that we have been praying for you, sending in positive energy your way. And salute to you, and also salute to your mother, or your parents, but primarily your mom's, because she's somebody who's very close to me, and I love Sister Barbara, so it's an honor to introduce Sister Barbara's son, and praise be to Allah. All right, let's get straight into it, Brother Khalid. What was it like for you growing up in the nation, sir?
First, let me say thank you, Brother Joshua, for inviting me on your show. I watch it faithfully, and I really appreciate it. I like the content. I like the platform. And I think you are going down the right path to have something great. So let me just say thank you for that. And please give the greetings to your family, your illustrious father and sisters and brothers, Shad, Mimi. And so I really appreciate it. And your question, what was it like growing up in the nation?
Yes, sir.
Man, hell, bean soup was at every dinner. I mean, yo, man, look, we're going to have a real conversation here.
Yes, sir.
Growing up in the nation, man, it was a wonderful experience. It gave me a magnificent base to be able to function in the world that we live in today, in many different circles and environments, and not lose my identity. Gave me a purpose. It gave me a sense of self. It gave me confidence and military training that encouraged discipline that all young men, especially Black and brown, need as we live in a world that's really chaotic. So it was a matchless experience. I couldn't and I wouldn't want to imagine life outside of the structure, discipline, and teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as exemplified by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So I have no complaints. When I was younger, I didn't see it this way. I thought it was like, man, we can't do this, we can't do that. We ain't got no Christmas. You know, you're the only one on the block with no toys. Talking about, Allah's God and your holidays in February. So while everybody's celebrating the last 3 months of the year, all kind of stuff, we're not doing none of that. I had aunts that they felt so bad for us. They would tell my parents, like, hey, we know y'all don't give gifts, kid, but can you at least accept it? You know what I'm saying? So we would get like one or two things. But even through that, it took time for me to mature to understand that my parents didn't participate in the commercialization of what they call as Christmas and the lie of Christmas and how it intertwines with a fairy tale character named Santa Claus. When you're younger, your realm of understanding is limited to the knowledge you have in your environment. It's like you want to fit in. So was it a struggle? Yes, because it's Christmas parties. You like, man, your parents like, man, you better not have fun in that Christmas party. Like, you don't grow up be no hypocrite. So, looking at that, it was something that gave me a basis to love truth. when I didn't understand it, I was just looking at what was done to me, but I didn't see till later on that my parents were doing something for me.
Yes, sir.
Matchless experience, even through different, trials and tribulations, the brotherhood of the FOI at that time, the junior FOI, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
had
sir.
I had brothers in the mosque, like brother Kevin, brother Alton, brother Ashir, brother Daquan, brother Bilal, brother Brandon, brother Benny. Those were my brothers. Man, I would get into fights in junior high school, and they would be at junior high school. Now they in high school, in suit and bow tie, one rank in front of school, looking like, you know what I mean? Who got a problem with Khalid? I was in the 8th grade wearing double-breasted pinstripe suits to school with my books in my father's briefcase. Because I used to ask him, can I use it? He would say no. So I would wait till like right before I walked out the door, throw everything out the book bag, use his briefcase, come back, put everything back in it, leaving pencils and erasers in it. You know what I mean? So I always got caught. But it was like I didn't want to wear a book bag with a suit. I wanted the whole presentation. And so that formed something in me for being presentable. It formed that pride that we want to be presentable. We want to wear the best, but not just wear the best. We want to be the best in our character, our integrity, and how we represent Islam, because Islam absolutely dignifies. So, and I gotta say this, thanks to brother Elijah, and brother Shango and brother Andrew, but primarily brother Elijah Shabazz.
Brother Elijah.
Man, mine's number 7. I mean, I never was on the drill team. I was around, but I never was, on the team. I never even tried to do. I'd like to watch it. I can drill though. Don't get it twisted. But all that practicing, and my parents, they were both lawyers. They wasn't taking me to drill practice, and they was a little overprotective. We don't want you riding the train by yourself. So that's the reason why. But brother Elijah gave us something, man. I used to look forward to Saturday junior FOI class. Like all of us, it was like a mini FOI class, man. That was something, on Saturdays, I didn't stay up playing video games. I didn't wake up Fruit Loops and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It was like, mom's is going to MGT class, get dressed, you going to junior FOI class. We drilling, we learn our general orders, and it gave us a good basic foundation. As we grew, then we started to get into study guide material. And that's material that's absolutely transformative on a whole nother level. So that's pretty much my little, snapshot of junior FOI and growing up in the nation. And I got to also thank Minister Abdul Hafiz. He played a significant role in my development. May Allah be pleased with him, and may Allah forever bless him. Sister Lorraine and his children.
Yes, sir.
The Minister Hafiz, we when we were younger, man, we never got to roll like with the E team. It was a few of us, you know what I'm saying? But like we didn't get that. So to us, we would practice on security on him like he was the minister. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
We
yes, sir.
15 deep outside the door, tell my brother Captain, where you going? Like, man, if you don't get out of my way, like, we like, yo, we got to get the water for him. We emulated the brothers that was the F team and then later the E team that was around the Honorable Minister Farrakhan. Those are our examples. Like, you have a lot of rappers in your background, and I like that. But growing up in the nation, man, I didn't look up to none of them dudes back there. Like, I like their music, and I couldn't even listen to rap till I was 13. My mother wasn't having it, but I didn't look up to none of them dudes back there. I looked up to our student supreme captain, Mustafa Farrakhan. I looked up to Captain Dennis, student supreme captain, former supreme captain Abdul Sharif, brother Captain Curtis. That whole F team, man, it was like those dudes is rolling with the man of God. I want to be one of them. And then when you come around and go over there, soldier, stand right over there 5 blocks away. You know what I'm saying? You're doing a great work for Muhammad. So it's like, man, I just wanted to be one of those guys, to walk with the Messiah, to walk with that man on at that time I looked at it at it really was, now I could say, superficial. It was very surface level desire. It was a lot of vanity in it. But now that I'm blessed to a degree walk with him, I learned that we got to walk with him through obedience, which is the highest form of sacrifice. When you sacrifice your will, your frustrations, your disappointments to follow the man that God has given to not just Black people, but to humanity, it will raise us in our character, in our integrity, and you will see blessings flow when we put our will to the side to do his. So now I'm blessed to say I'm a follower and striving to be a follower every day. It's an everyday struggle. But that junior FOI class, and then later the FOI class, and that Friday study group, man, Friday study group was like a hangout for us. We had our own youth study group with Brother Chris upstairs. And looking back now, we really didn't, to be very honest, when I was younger, I used to be like, man, we need our own like little study group. And it's cool to have your own as far as, you have peers as far as age, but we didn't need some new curriculum. The curriculum that was given to us in them study guides, I would say that's the only thing we could have kept was what was revealed from Allah to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is not some age limit type of material where you're too young to understand or you're too old. No, it's all for all of humanity. God will speak to them cradle to the grave. So that material, I would say, if I could do it again, I would be going straight to study guide, starting from study guide number 1, mixed feelings and controversy, because everybody in the world, living in Satan's world, to one degree or another, we are dealing with mixed feelings and controversy. So I thank Allah for that junior FOI class and those formative pillars in Mosque number 7, man, like the brother Nathaniel, our former investigator. He was my dean of boys at my private school, which wasn't an MUI, but he also was him and his wife owned it. So they ran it like an MUI. Yeah, man, that Mosque number 7 has a rich history, and I feel privileged and honored to have been around those greats that helped to rebuild that mosque. And I pray Allah that it'll never fall, and it won't fall because we won't let it.
All praise is due to Allah. You teaching, Brother Khalid, and people showing you love all over the world. Sister Naima says, Assalamu Salam, Naima. Maybe I'll come back to that question. Brother Khalifa Bay says, Assalamu alaikum. I mean, it says Muhammad number 7. Sister Minister Aisha out of Phoenix says, Assalamu alaikum, salam. People are showing you love. Boom, boom. Oh, thank you, Brother Abdul Rasul. And final call says, peace. He's so happy for you, dear Brother Khalid Muhammad. You are inspiring to us all to change things, especially from our beloved Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. May Allah continue to bless you. Thank you, dear Brother Joshua, for hosting such a special occasion. Thank you. And I think this is Brother Abdul Rasul's first time watching live. So thank you for the Anthony Andrews. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Cleveland. Just some people showing you love all around the world. Okay, Mimi, I'm coming straight to your question. So my sister Miriam says, how do you manage holidays as a Muslim dad now? Do you do anything different, or do you parent similar to your parents?
That's a good question. I'm pretty much the same, but I give a little more explanation. I didn't get much explanation. It's like, it's in the messenger's book. Like, cool, I don't understand none of that, but I love Allah too. That's kind of how that was. Like, these holidays, man, I'll do something like, I might like just do like a family dinner or have my family at the house, but like I'm not going out, going crazy, shopping and like doing all that type of stuff. No, I'm not doing that. But the minister said, and and I'll say this. The minister said, during these holidays, it's not the time for us to go to our families' houses and browbeat them with Islam and try to make them feel bad. He said that every moment you find ignominy or ignorance is an opportunity to teach. I don't have to go over there and protest and put how to eat to live down to my man. Y'all not eating between 4 and 6 like the messenger said. That you don't win people like that. You actually do what he said to Brother Student Minister Wesley. You win the argument but lose the soul. The battle is in the sky. It's after the hearts and minds of our people. So, when you get together with family, there's going to be discussions. Things are going to come up. So that's my time to, one, spend quality time with the family and don't isolate them, but don't isolate myself. And then it allows me an opportunity to teach. And when questions or statements are dropped, I'm able to bring it in a way where I'm expounding and giving wisdom that I've gotten from the teaching of the Most High Muhammad. But I don't always have to say that part either. I can just drop little wisdom here and there and just wait for it. You don't drop a seed in the earth and then think a tree is going to come the same day. So I'm trying to win friends and influence people with the truth. It's my job to make them feel bad. But now if you ask me a question, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. You know damn well Jesus wasn't born on December 26th. They didn't have no calendars back then. You don't even know. So, no, man, I'm not doing all of that. But what I do, man, I make Savior's Day so lit. And that's the goal. You got to make it lit. Like, you got to make it like other children, like, damn, what's Savior's Day? Can we do that in my house? That's how it should be. You know what I'm saying? Savior's Day is a whole week. It ain't Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It starts from Monday to Monday.
Yes,
so
sir.
I'm talking school and all that. I send a note to the school. This is Savior's Day, blah, 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 whatever. And we observe it. And that's what we do. So I just make it fun. I try to make up for all of that stuff, but also teaching the truth. Like, man, this ain't really real. And I'm not going to encourage that. But I can't punish you for lying and then come behind you as a parent and lie to you in the name of, well, it's just fun. They children. No, So, hey, man, it is what it is.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful. Thank you, Brother Khalid.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. And once again, people showing you love. A lot of people showing you love all around the world. Thank you, Brother Anthony, Brother Gordon, Brother everybody who's showing love, Brother Khalifa, and people say representing Mosque number 7. I want to say that I got the opportunity to, of course, interview Brother Elijah twice, but I just saw him at Savior's Day, and I came up in the Children's Village, and I thanked him for what he did, not only for you and the brothers in New York, but what he did for myself and the brothers in Chicago and around the nation at junior FOY camps. And that's so important. To see him still helping. That mentorship with the young brothers is very needed. And he still does it with a smile on his face. So shout out to all of the people who are getting the blessing of Allah to see the junior FOY grow into young men and men, now fathers and husbands, and they're still doing it. So that's a thankless job. So shout out to all the FOY who are still doing that as well. Okay, Brother Khalid, I wanted to ask you your favorite, your most fondest, your earliest memory of being around the Most Honorable Louis Farrakhan.
I think it was December 7th, 2005. That's the earliest. The minister came to Mosque number 7, and the lecture was entitled "Love Ye One Another, Even as I've Loved You." And it was so many people outside. He did two messages at that mosque back to back, and they were like 45 minutes apart. And he said that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had told him that one day the mosque would be so packed, you would have to hold multiple meetings in 15-minute increments, just 15 minutes of the next group. And so he didn't want to lead the people that were standing outside out there to see him. So he spoke twice. And it's kind of wild because I used my mom. My mom went up to see him, and I used my mom as a way to get upstairs just so I can greet him. And Brother Salim, Captain Salim, may Allah be pleased with him. He said, "Sister Barbara, this your son?" He said, "Well, come on in." And I got to meet the minister in Minister Hafiz's office. And there's a picture on my Facebook of him and I. He's a burgundy suit on, and I got a pinstripe suit and a purple bow tie. That was, I would say, man, look, these are not pre-screened questions, but this stuff you can't forget. I don't have to think about that. It's right there, So yeah, I would say December of 2005. Yep.
Yes, sir. Okay, now I have a question, Brother Khalid. Something that all of us nation babies had to experience, and people in other religions universally, is a time where 18 out of high school and you have to make a decision. Are you going to accept the faith that your parents introduced you to, or are you going to go on another life journey? What advice would you give to the young people right now, 18 years old, 16 to 22, that area, about the value of them staying and accepting the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad as taught by the Most Honorable Mr. Farrakhan?
So I'll say this. Yeah, I had to make that decision. What's crazy is my parents never, like, they never forced it on me. They never even asked me about it. They never asked me. It was just, well, at 18, there was no real, I was still going to the mosque because I loved it so much and still do. So I couldn't imagine anything else outside of the nation. But let's keep it real, man. Some of us, we go through things and we go through disappointments and frustrations, and we say, man, I'm out of here, I'm good, or you see your parents go through stuff, a number of things, and you like, man, I'm cool, like they don't value them, and look at all that they done did. So me, I'm just, no, I'm cool, I'm gonna do something with my life. I still love the minister though. That's how we do. I still love the minister and the nation. You know what I'm saying? Like when he speak, I'm gonna come out. When he don't speak, I'm good. I watch it from home, webcast. So we webcast Muslims now. So, it just, that sometimes is what we use to make a decision. And that's a feeling, that's an emotion. And there's nothing wrong with a feeling or emotion because God has experienced every emotion that we have. But I heard the minister say the only person that makes a decision on feelings is a blind person. They got to feel their way around to open the door. See? But when you have actual facts, and you have the actual facts, you can make an informed decision once we do what the study guide says, rise above emotion into the thinking of God. I would implore every person, young, old, whatever, no matter what you go through, and I myself, I have had a very unique experience in LA and in New York. I've gone through trials with laborers and regional laborers, local laborers. I've gone through a lot, brother. Quite a few experiences that if I shared, you'd be like, ain't no way in hell you went through that. But I have. But I'm not here for any of those, quote, people involved in those experiences. I'm here because I found a truth that I know will absolutely help to better myself and my community. I wrote a letter on my own. In 2013 is when I officially got registered. Because, like I know growing up, we used to talk that, man, I was born in the nation. And I don't even know I don't know what that is, bro. And a lot of times, I'm going to just keep it real. A lot of times growing up in the nation, in that sense, ruins our character because we feel privileged and entitled to the rights that a registered believer would have without ever going through the process that God set up. Your captain set up this letter. You ain't even writing your letter to this captain. You're writing a letter to God, the contract that divorces you from the world and takes you back on a journey to becoming an original man again, which we were prior to the fall of man. So writing your letter, getting registered, coming into a course of study, it doesn't benefit your parents. It makes them proud. But its ultimate benefit is you. So a lot of us, we've had experiences running through the streets. Man, there ain't nothing out there. Nothing out there. There's no other teaching that can top this invincible truth. You can go study it. That's why the minister will give you facts like it's everything and tell us, you go research it yourself. So you just got to understand that there's a risk factor in going to do that. The risk factor is in your experience, you may not make it back. You may become a victim of circumstances that if you lived within the rope of the restrictive laws that God himself said is our success at any time, you may be protected from. Restrictive law is not to be worn like a straitjacket. And Islam should not be worn or represented like you are in some kind of a straitjacket. It actually frees and liberates us to act and to display our God-given talents and wisdom in his creation in a mature and a positive manner. And it allows us to be protected from the machinations of Satan and his minions. So I would say, I could, like I said, bro, I can't imagine anything outside of the nation. I couldn't, bro. So if you want to go down that path, that's your decision. Feel free, explore, figure it out. But just know that in this day and time, we live in as what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad called the days of Allah. You can't play with this. You can't be exposed to Islam, this Islam, not that old stuff where you're caught up in rituals. But I'm talking about what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad got from God in person. Now, if God gave him this, why would you go and try to live your life based on some other knowledge just because of what you feel like doing? He's the Lord of creation. Without him, you wouldn't be here. So he don't know what to put in his user manual. So now we follow ways of YouTube and TikTok challenges. So I would say, stick with the teachings. Learn the teachings for yourself. Most of us growing up in the nation, bro, we know the basics, who God is, who's the original man. So the original man is, real robotic. But we can't even explain that, bro. You can't show me in your everyday life how you prove and justify your existence as the original man. You just saying stuff because you learned it in a rank. So we just, yes, sir, like we live our life. Left flank, right flank, double to the rear, triple to the rear, all that type of stuff. But then when we get off stage, closed curtain, we just like the people in the streets, bro. And we quote, born in this. You see what I'm saying? Most of us don't really know the teachings and have not plumbed the depth of the teachings and have not really practiced it to even see if it works. We look at experiences and then we make a judgment on everything. Man, I'm cool on that, man. The nation, it ain't. I used to say this, man, ain't nothing for the young people to do. Man, all them people outside in the street that need Islam, you don't need no permission to go teach that. And the best way to teach it is to live it and be that example. But that don't mean I'm going to just be in the streets teaching, but I'm not going to help and participate. I ain't going to come out because I don't like such and such. They tripping. No, the mosque is, remember, we building a nation. We're not building no mosque. The mosque is like, oh man, it is like, what is the word where the consulates meet? Different consulates and dignitaries from other countries that have an embassy.
Oh, embassy,
like
okay.
An embassy of a nation. It's a local location, right? That's where you practice at. That's the friction that you get from this person, that person, is like the friction you get in the washing machine to get your clothes clean. If you throw clothes in a machine and just put water in there and soap, it's just gonna smell soapy, but it's still gonna look dirty. Most of us smell clean, but on the inside, bro, a lot of times with our character and our morality shows that we're really not as clean as we think we are. And yet we'll say, been born in this. Being born in something and being of it and having it in you is one thing. See what I'm saying? So we still need this practice. And brother such and such didn't set up the mosque. God himself set up the mosque. God himself gave us ministers, captains, and lieutenants. Because a lot of us, we don't know how to deal with and obey black authority. So we have to be retrained on how to even love one another and communicate with one another and do business with one another and get rid of envy and jealousy. What other, quote, religion or organization are you going to go to that can give you that and make you a perfected human being if you practice it? The minister said the more you practice Islam, the better you get at it. But, just like in music, you practice with your concerts and you practice with the violin and other musical instruments. Practice is what it is, man. It's where mistakes happen. But the Savior came and said that mistakes shall not exist. It ain't that it won't be made. It's just that we will correct it quickly so that it will not exist. Existence in presence is not the same thing. So a lot of us have made mistakes and we want to be forgiven. Can we forgive the brother that talked to you foul, that left you on post for 5 hours and forgot about you? He home eating, you still outside. See what I'm saying? Brother didn't treat my mom right. They ain't treat my dad right. They ain't give him the props and respect that I think they should give. Okay, but we're not perfect, man. We have a perfect teaching. We have a perfect, quote, religion. We have a perfect way of life, but the practitioners make mistakes. And that's why we have to confess our faults to the one that can grant us forgiveness, the prayer, confessing of faults. We don't, I mean, not to like me and you, but to the God, to Master Farad Muhammad, the one that can alleviate us of the burden of those mistakes, and out of his divine mercy will sometimes protect us from the repercussions of those mistakes, which leads me back to, if you want to leave and explore, just know you may not make it back, because we're living in the days of Allah. That's my vote. That's would be my answer to that question. And thank you to brother Abdul Rasul. He played such a pivotal part in this journey. Very consistent, very passionate, very prayerful. He really gave me a strong example and demonstration of his love by his consistent and sincere brotherhood. So I want to thank him. We were texting the other night at like 2 a.m. his time, and he was out at the printing press preparing for the new final call. My brother's a hard worker, diligent worker, and very steadfast, and he loves the believers. And we had a kind of like high and by little kind of relationship, but through this, we really got to share experiences and talk as brothers. And that's another thing. A lot of us, man, we don't even know each other, bro. We say brother because that's what you're supposed to say in the mosque. But we have to make an effort to really get to know each other in a righteous way, that we could qualify to really call each other brother and sister and mean it. It's not just something to say. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to thank him. And I hope I'm answering your questions.
Oh, yes, sir, you are. Praise be to Allah. And thank you, Brother Khalid, for your honesty, your transparency, and your great representation of yourself, as well as the teachers of Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We have a quick 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast. We are grateful for every like, share, and subscription, as well as every anonymous Cash App to the People's Podcast. Thank you all for showing love all around the world to our YouTube family, Brother Musa, Sister Auntie, Brother Kente, Sister Hope, everybody who shows love on all of the platforms. 1 second, we come right back to Brother Khalid. There we go. 1 second.
Most of those services. The Miriam's, ABC I Love Me, children's book and coloring book, and now Spanish book. All 3 available on Amazon.com. Sister Naima's Stay on Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country, right here in the studios of Atlanta. Student Minister Sharif Muhammad's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, available on adulsharif.com. And lastly, Brother Joshua Muhammad's book, Cleopatra, as well as No Father, No Excuse, both available on Amazon. Most of those services.
Okay, and Brother Khalid.
Sister Miriam.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I wanted to ask you about your parents. Could you let us know your parents' names on the record, sir?
Yes. Brother Larry, well, yeah, Muhammad, he was there when they gave him out. So Brother Larry Muhammad and Sister Barbara. My father has since passed on since 2003. My mother, by the grace of Allah, is a stage 4 breast cancer survivor, and has been cancer-free by Allah, God's permission, since 2015. And so they were the original, I don't want to say original. They were one of the first few lawyers that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan had in the rebuilding stages, with Brother Lou Myers, Brother Arf, Sister Ava, my mother, and my father. I don't think there's anybody else. And in fact, when Sister Ava had breast cancer, she lived at our house, well, not my house, but my parents' house. She lived with us during that time. So they have worked on almost every case that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the nation and the final call have been involved in over since 1980 when they joined. I remember my mother used to tell me that they were working as lawyers, but when the minister would travel on the East Coast, her and my dad would get on the tour bus or the coach or whatever they had, and they would go and hold posts to hold security. Back in that day, under Minister Kareem, Sister Eastern Regional Captain John Muhammad's father. So, you know, what I loved about them is I saw them in the professional manner, but they were soldiers. You know, my pops was at FOI class. He didn't use the fact of, yeah, I'm a lawyer, you know what I mean? I'm not coming out type of thing. There's many ways I can help the father. You know what I'm saying? And FOI class is not one of them. So, you know what I'm saying? It was never that. My mom went to MGT class every Saturday. I used to ride with her and Sister Captain Amina Rasul. I didn't even know who Sister Amina Rasul, like her. I knew she was a captain under the messenger. And when I was younger, I was just like, all right, that's cool. But I didn't know the magnitude of her greatness until I got older. And I used to be like, man, we used to pick her up every Saturday. She lived 4 blocks from my house. So she would go and sell her aloe vera juice in the yellow container. Like, I remember all this vividly. And then we'd be there like all day. That was a little bit much, but yeah, man. I'd be like, man, y'all not ready to go? You know, the sisters, man, they got class and then they got to have like an officers meeting and then a bazaar selling all kind of stuff like lentil beans, navy beans, arts and crafts they made on the train on the way home, and all kind of carrot cakes and hibiscus teas and just all kind of muffins and sundry items. So, you know, I used to get home on a Saturday at like 4 o'clock. I'm like, damn, we really been in here like almost an 8-hour day. This is wild. So yeah, man, my parents are pillars in New York, brother. You ask those that were there, they'll tell you I was truly blessed for Allah, Master Farad Muhammad, to take me out of my biological mother's care and place me in that home. And I say that because through this recent battle, I've always struggled. Well, through the recent battle, I realized that. And now I'll say this. I always struggled emotionally with being adopted. I don't even know if you knew that.
I didn't know that.
Did you know that?
No,
okay.
sir.
So I'm adopted. I was adopted at 2 years old in New York. My parents could have children, Sister Barbara and Brother Larry, but they heard a lecture from the minister dealing with how to raise Black children in America. And they decided to go and adopt 3 Black children from 3 different families. So I have a brother and a sister that are not biologically related to me, but are in fact my brother and sister. And we grew up like that. See, they took 3 and gave us Islam. And then it's on us to make that decision. And I see the significance of it. I know my biological mother. I do not know my biological father. That is still a question of that I have. And I'm the oldest of 8. And I have, I could call my brothers and sisters up today, and my sister went as far as telling me, she said, man, I wish I was adopted like you were, because growing up with mom was hell. Now, I used to have such bad emotional tantrums about this adoption. I used to lay on the floor and bang my head onto the floor until it knocked me out. Now, this is the first time that I'm saying this publicly to anybody, right? I used to go through a lot of ups and downs. I went through a lot of rejection. I never could get relationships right because I never fully trusted women, because I looked at, damn, my mom's ain't even love me. She gave me up. I never looked at it from the perspective of God until the last few years, maybe the last 10 years. So I had a lot of issues. I was, in one sense, I would be running crazy through Miles Number 7, just doing whatever I wanted, just, absent of my parents, of course. I had this stigma like, man, Brother Khaled's rebellious. This brother don't listen to nobody. He just do. I just was, I was an emotional and mental wreck on the inside, but I was still doing, left step. And that look, you look good, right? Upper general salute. Security man, you know what I mean? Whole post, strong brother. But a little boy with very low confidence, very low self-worth on the inside, because it's natural to know where you came from. I'm 36. I didn't meet my biological mother until I was 19. And let me tell you something about my mom, Sister Barbara. The kind of selfless love that my mother has, man, not only will she help anybody and help herself right into poverty too by doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that by giving legal services and won't ask for no money or charge somebody if they ain't got it. She just say, okay, praise be to Allah. I'm a little different. I don't operate like that all the time. I will do charitable things, but I need my money, Chief. I gotta get paid up front. But she paid for, I was watching a show on MTV and I saw Daryl, the DMC part of Run DMC. He's adopted. And he hired this, or the set hired this private investigator. She found his biological mother in like less than a week. So when I saw that, I called her. And I was 19. I called, asked her how much it was. I ain't had no damn money, but I was just asked. And I said, I'm gonna present this to my mom. I was so nervous, man. I didn't know what she was gonna say, because it's like, man, I want to find my quote real mom. You know what I'm saying? As people would say, but really my biological mother. So I didn't know. I was kind of scared. I'm like, man, she might think I don't love her, and I didn't want to break her heart. But I had to ask. It was just on me. So when I asked her, she said, yeah, call the lady back and tell her that I'll pay for it. $2,500. I'll never forget that. The lady found my biological mother in 2 days. 2 days. And I can still remember the phone call. I could remember that with my brothers and my sisters, of me calling her and asking if this was her. And it was. I think the first time I just hung up and said wrong number. And I was walking outside in the street on the corner, up and down the block. I was like, man, you asked for this. She paid for the information. My mother FedExed a check to that lady overnight. And I called back. And at that time, I was not born with the name Khalid. And I'm not going to tell you what the name I was born with, because I hate it. But it's a close translation to the name I have now in English, though. And I hate the whole name. First, middle, last, all of it, actually, to be honest with you. Man, please. So I called back, man, and I said, yeah, this is Khalid. And she's like, who Khalid? And I told her, I said, you have a son named such and such? She said, yeah. I said, oh, that's me. As dead as this thing is right here, complete silence. I ain't know what to say. I didn't know. And then she was like, are you serious? What's your full name? And I told her. And it was a lot of this right now, just like, damn, like, man, she was like, then she went into, I've been looking for you for all these years, and, whatever. So, that I heard all of that, and that's cool. And she told my sisters, they were in the background, man, I'll never forget it. And they got on the phone with such joy. They literally were screaming, our big brother's back, our big brother's back. I had never met them. So I was in Queens, they was in the Bronx, and man, we had some rough moments now after the meet and greet, but if I didn't have study group, no, I'm being honest, I'm not going to sit here and lie. It was not all, see, because my mother, I think she, man, I didn't think this interview would go like this, but I didn't think my mother was probably what I get, so confused or so angry about the situation. Even when I told her, Ma, it's okay. I don't hold you accountable for anything. Like, I don't blame you for anything. My growing up was good. I'm straight, Ma. She couldn't find a way then and today to forgive herself and move on from that. I told her there was nothing to forgive because Allah allowed this to happen. She's a Christian. So, I don't know how much of that statement meant anything to her. But I told her, like, I'm not tripping. I'm not tripping at all. I've learned to look at the blessing and thanking Allah for bringing me through your womb. That's the best gift you could have gave me. And like I told her, I'm 19, like I live on my own, I have my own car, everything. Like I'm good. At that point, I had just moved out. So I'm like, I'm good. I don't need, I don't need you to do anything for me. I just want a relationship with you as far as to communicate and just try to get to know you. You know what I mean? I'm 19 years without knowing what you even look like. And now I could call you up, I could text you. And I said to myself, I said, damn, like, well, my sister said this to me recently that she wished you, two of them said it actually, and two of my brothers. Man, you had a better life than we did. And some of the stuff they would tell me they would experience, and I said, oh, now I understand the result. Like I know what I'm looking at when I talk to them. Like I understand the experiences that they have gone through that no child should see or experience. But I don't judge my mother. I'm not her judge. I'm not here to judge her. She's another one just living in the world like everybody else, like myself, that has been bitten by a culture that promotes evil opposed to good and not living in her right state of mind, in her to give the best of herself. She couldn't give the best of herself when you just trying to survive. You know what I'm saying? Like some of the things she would tell me when she first had me. My mom had me at 15. So she was prostituting herself at 15 to feed me, living on a train. You know, so my father, biological father, from what I'm told, was a New York City police officer, a detective. Now, if you're a detective and she's 15, that's statutory rape because you're a grown man and was married. So I was, like, I guess a side baby or accident, according to the standard of the world. But I heard the minister say in a lecture, never judge the circumstances around your birth. Jesus has some, quote, odd looking circumstances. See, so those who want to lead the nation and figure it out on your own, you could never go through something like this with the right perspective trying to follow something else. There's no better guidance than what has been revealed from God to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as exemplified by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I didn't come to view all of this overnight. It took a lot of trial. It took a lot of study, a lot of prayer, a lot of just reflection on the inside, because you want to know what makes you the way you are. What are the circumstances? The minister said that he had gotten so in tune with the God that he was able to go back after a 3-day fast and tell his mother the circumstances surrounding his birth. Well,
yes, sir.
He also said with study guide, with the study groups, one of the most painful things you can do is self-analysis. You can't fake that. And in that self-analysis, you will see weaknesses within yourself. And depending on how deep you go into that, you can see why. And when you know why a thing is the way it is, that will not only dictate your motive for when you're doing something, but it'll show you how you can correct that and go deeper into understanding. So self-analysis is absolutely mandatory in the process to becoming God and reflecting God, which is love. But we have to now demonstrate that love. First, love of self, then others. You can't love yourself if you don't know yourself. And you can't know yourself if you don't do that self-analysis. But if you want to go down the road of perfection, that's absolutely a part of the process. So I had to analyze that. I see why I do or did certain things when I met my mother. I'm like, damn, I'm just like her in this regard. Like, this is why, and this is not good. Oh, this is good. So now I'm like, okay, I need to correct that. And this is not like one of those, yeah, my mama got a high blood pressure, so I got high blood pressure. No, your mama eat KFC chicken and your big ass eat KFC chicken. That's why y'all got high blood pressure. See, you stop telling them lies. But with certain character flaws that are not learned, you can look at, because I share DNA with her. That's not the most important, but it is a part of how I became who I am today.
Yes,
Some
sir.
things are good and some things need to be removed. So, man, Josh, you took me down a lane, brother, that I did not even think about going. But Allah has made me so comfortable in this part of my life that I could talk about it on a platform like this. This is something that it took me years to even get into with my wife. But after this last situation, I've had to get to know our Savior Allah and the person of Master Farah Muhammad. And I say that often. I don't just say Allah. I want to make a clear distinction. I don't believe in no damn spook God. Allah is not some ethereal being or not. No, he's a real live man and healed me. And I realized that he's had his hand on my life since I was in the womb. He could have took any of those 8 and removed it. But he took me and put me in a household that would help give me a foundation for my purpose in life. And one of those purposes is to kick the behind of Satan that comes to attack this nation in not just a physical form, but in a legal and a scholarly form. That's one of my purposes. So he put me inside of an environment that would affect the heredity, because environment affects heredity.
That's right.
So I'm in a home with 2 lawyers that I watched sacrifice their whole life for the nation. And they didn't have a whole bunch of material stuff. When you think lawyer, you think everybody got money. No, I helped my mother to this day financially. But she was healed of cancer, I believe, because of her work for the nation. Your work for this nation is what, when you come in, is what gives you value with the Lord of creation today, which is Master Farah Muhammad. And when you get into something or when you're afflicted with something, you can go into your sin savings account and say, man, I got more good than the bad. So I'm asking Allah, can I cash out on this? And my mom cashed out and she's still here by the grace of Allah. And so am I now.
All praise.
I'm sorry to be.
Oh no, Khalid, we right here with you. And so many people around the world are bearing witness. Thank you all very much. Brother Frank says, my brother, praise be to Allah. Sister Ms. Aisha says, thank you for sharing. My sister Miriam says, you are healing so many people with your truth. Thank you for sharing. Sister Trinashe X is a safe family. Thank you. Sister Khadij Bay, speak that. You're teaching. Praise be to Allah. Remy, just so many people showing love. This is beautiful, Brother Khalid. Thank you very much. And I just want to say that growing up, having the honor of soldiering with Brother Khalid, doing so many trainings with Brother Rashad and the E-team, and especially in the early days, you were one of the most confident people that I had ever met as a child, as you know, especially being a teenager. So I would have never known any of that. That's why I'm honored that you would share that with us, because you always had the bravado of a captain and of a leader. And the way you carried your posture in your hands, I was like, I would have never thought there was anything other than confidence. So thank you for being honest with us and helping us heal our whatever we're going through.
Josh, let me say something to you. That's
yes,
important. That was all fake.
Mm.
What you see here today, that's all real. That was all vanity and BS. That's all it was. It was imitation of other people I looked up to, like our Supreme Captain, Brother Mustafa, man, and my father. So I was imitating, but because I couldn't connect with who I was. I didn't know. So I imitated who I looked up to and knew that other people looked up to, so I would be accepted. That was just vanity, brother. I'm a whole post like this for the Supreme whole post. Like, bro, you're so tight, you about to pass out. That don't even make sense. Just be you. That's why the Savior came and said, accept your own and be yourself. He didn't say accept your own and be another person. Be yourself. But again, you don't know who yourself is. And that's what makes the study guides that the Honorable Mr. Farrakhan has given us so important. It is so important and so monumental that I think many of us, we overlook the value of it. Those study guides are not something that he just wrote while he was sitting on the toilet. That's absolute revelation. Now, I got to be real. That's absolute revelation. That's why on the back of the book, it says no one is exempt from this course of study. It's the value of the study guides and the words. You can't just read Message to the Black Man alone and think, oh, yeah, I got the teachings. No, you have to plumb the depth of every word that has been said and that has been written. There's just like there's layers of the law, there's layers to the meanings of words and context. The Savior didn't speak a lot of words, but you could write, Don Elijah Muhammad said, I can write volumes of books on one word, he said. See what I'm saying? So I appreciate that, brother. But I was trying to be accepted by those like you and the former Junior Supreme and Kev and all that. I wanted to fit in. So, I was window dressing. I was just like, yo, Supreme do this. That's my role model. I'm gonna do that too. I didn't even know who the hell I was. I don't even like doing this. Like that's his thing. That's not me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get it. That's like back in the day, brothers would get a long leather coat and gators and all that just because the minister had it, but your damn rent is late. That don't make sense. You trying to follow another man in the way of some dress, but you're not following him as far as his charity. How charitable are you to your people and your family? His rent ain't late, but yours is late. Follow him in that integrity, discipline, charity. Try to be the biggest giver and not be seen of men. Then you'll be a follower.
Praise be to Allah. You're teaching, Brother Khalid. Yes, sir. Well, we've spoken on the health trial a little bit. Give us the exact what took place for those who may have not followed you on social media. What took place and how have you been able to overcome that by the grace of Allah?
In late August, rather early August, somewhere in August, I was having a lot of testicular pain. And just imagine getting kicked there all day long, like multiple times. That's the type of pain. It was consistent. A very sharp, but then dull, aching pain. It would have me bent over like this. I would have to lay down. Then that would start hurting. And it was a lot, brother. And so I went and got tested. Had some blood tests done at my request, but an ultrasound. In the ultrasound, it showed a varicocele. Do you know a condition they call varicose veins, where the vein is visible? Like you go see somebody standing in the store, you can see that whole vein and the curvature visible in that leg. Well, that's a backup of blood flow in that vein. Apparently, I was born, I guess, a deformity, if you want to call it that, where one of the veins in the left testicle, the blood flow is not as good as the other veins. There's hundreds of veins there, but one of them is not good. So when the blood flows, it flows and backs up, and so it creates the visible print of the vein. So that pressure and that backup of flow is what caused the pain. Well, I told the doctor, working as a paramedic background for several years in New York, I want to test to make sure I don't have any type of cancer. Now, he thought I was crazy. He was like, man, that's probably like a waste. You should be good. This varicose vein, we put you to sleep. We go in, we basically burn the vein off and reroute the blood. And then you good in like an hour. From the time you knocked out to the time you good, you go home, pain, whatever, a couple of days, you'll be all right. You're going to have no pain for the rest of your life. I have not done that procedure, so I still suffer with that pain. But Allah has alleviated that a lot. And weight loss has probably helped a considerable amount. So he did the blood test. Actually, I'm going to keep it real. He gave me the paperwork to take it to the lab. So I went and checked off all the blood tumor markers on the test and just tested it anyway. When I did the test, they emailed me back. Well, rather, they called me and told me that it was negative for the cancer and, why would you do that and whatever. Then I got an email as I was going to get ready to escort the minister from the palace in Phoenix to the burial site for Minister Jabril. May Allah be pleased with him. Telling me that, in fact, they had misdiagnosed me and that I do have testicular cancer. Now, had I not listened to the original thought that I had that didn't come from me, because I don't have an original thought, I don't know where I would have been or when they would have caught it. Then this is why I say Allah's been with me, Nasra Muhammad, my entire life. I followed that thought to just, man, go ahead and just Google them tests and check them joints off and let them test it. They gave me an email. I read that email. I said, I'm going to deal with this later. And it was saying that we misdiagnosed you. It's our mistake. We ran the test 3 times and it's positive for testicular cancer, but you're young. Testicular cancer has like a 98% survival rate. They catch it before it spreads. They go in, they take the testicle out or 2. In my case, it was just 1 that they were trying to take out, the left. And then you still could, you don't have any the limitations, should I say. You can still produce a child, still can, perform. So you just would have 1 real one and 1 fake one. And that's pretty much it. I read that email, man, and I got to the burial site and they played a Largo song off the minister's album. And man, brother, I was on post, man. It was like 120 degrees. And I was in this suit actually crying because I had looked to my right and I saw the casket and the whole, burial plot. And I immediately thought that would be me. And I was the sun was burning the leather of my shoe into my damn foot. It was ridiculously hot. And I was an emotional wreck standing there on post, physically, visibly there, but mentally like somewhere else, just being very honest. I talked to my primary doctor, who's a Black general surgeon and my primary doctor about it. He wanted to take the testicle off, like damn near like 2 days from then. I was like, let's calm down here. And then I wanted to see a specialist. So I got a Jewish lady doctor. And the first thing she asked me was, in this course of treatment, do you have to ask your minister for permission? Now, I had not talked to her about no minister or nothing. And my name is Khalid Muhammad. This ain't like this is not like my Muslim name. How some of us be like, Willie Johnson or Willie,
yes.
whatever. And then, you Akbar the Third, Abdul Kareem. Nah, it's my real name, man. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, well, your doctor already told me that you won't take the COVID vaccine because Mr. Farrakhan told you not to. And I was like, damn, this is wild, crazy that like he would do this. And now I'm in this lady's office, this like, it's like in the middle of a physical exam now. So I'm in a kind of like a compromising position. And I'm like, no, but yeah, I didn't tell you because, he did say that. And I followed him. So, but no, I don't need his permission, but I want to get a second opinion to see if this is what it is. And then what's the best option? So she was recommending chemotherapy, but she didn't know how well it would get into the testicular area. Not unlike, lung cancer or whatever. They say it doesn't get down in that lower region that well, so it might be a waste. But the other doctor, my regular doctor, was saying, look, man, we'll just cut it, just call it a day. I'm like, well, which one is best? Because I don't want to be doing, multiple procedures. I just want to do one if I have to and be done with it. I'm not trying to keep coming back in here. So I got them on the phone. They started arguing and they could not come up with a consensus. So they got another doctor. He talking about radiation, but that was like we don't really know how well it may work. People normally just get it taken out and call it a day. And at that point, I was like, all right, I'm going to think about it. I'll get back to y'all. I knew I wasn't doing nothing because I was so confused. I'm like, man, these doctors, like, they can't even talk to each other in a civil manner. I said, I'm going to write the minister. I said, because I don't know who to trust. The Black dude, he done sold me out because me and the COVID vaccine ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Like, you didn't have to go tell her that. But you made it a point to tell her that and then to tell her who I got it from. So now I'm thinking, okay, I gotta be a little more alert on how I deal with this lady. So I wrote the minister in August. It took me some days to kind of get it together. But less than a week after that, via email, I sent it to his office. I didn't hear anything back. So the doctors is like, look, testicular cancer can spread between 8 to 12 weeks from the testicles to the other testicle to your abdomen and your lungs in less than 2 months. You need to move on something quickly. So I'm getting a lot of pressure. I got family that thought I was kind of not. My mother was one of them, thought I wasn't taking it seriously. She called me every day, multiple times a day, to ask me what I'm gonna do. Like I'd be like, man, I don't know. Like I don't keep my. Every time you call, I don't want to talk about this. There's other things in life going on besides this. So I wrote again to the minister in September. It was either late September, early October, somewhere in that area. I didn't hear nothing back. During that time, my doctor told me you're gonna have to go for blood tests and ultrasound every week. Now, to touch me like that would put me in excruciating pain. So every week I'm going to the ultrasound and they doing all of this, moving this around, doing all that. I mean, it was like I've said a lot of choice words to these people. I was in excruciating pain. They in there doing that, and they have a conversation about basketball games and stuff like it's just like normal business. I'm like, man, I'm trying to like get this. Can we hurry up with this? Not only is it painful, but like this is low key like embarrassing. You know what I mean? So I was getting poked in my arms, running the test. Before the second letter, when they ran the test, it showed the equivalent of like a 400% increase in the tumor markers in the blood. Tumor markers are proteins that are produced by cancer. It helps to give a signal to the doctors that this is either the tumor is either getting bigger or it's spreading. So they wanted to do like a biopsy. I was good on that. I'm not doing no biopsy because they don't normally do biopsies for that until after the testicle's removed. So you wanted to basically grab a piece of my testicle while it's in me and then send me home to bed. No, sir, was not doing that. So when I got that, I wrote a second letter. The content was the same. I did inform his office that I was not doing anything until, I got to get some guidance from him. Because again, brother, I didn't know who I could trust. My thoughts were all over the place, bro. I was study guide number one, like the mixed feelings of controversy. I was going through a lot. I couldn't sleep. I was like having insomnia. I was waking up just to wake up to see if I was still alive in the middle of the night. Like bro, you get a diagnosis like that, you start thinking the worst, especially when you see so many people, die from that. So I wrote a third letter. Third letter was extremely short, very direct, and nothing similar to the last two. When I sent that, I got a call back in an hour. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I got a call back in November the 3rd. And mind you, from August to November the 3rd is when the minister called me. I was laying in the bed and I was hopped up on so many opioid pain medications, bro. It was crazy as hell. I had kind of gotten into like a depression, man. And I was wavering, bro. I was strong one day, like Allah got me. Then I was like, man, I don't know. I may not make this. So I was talking to a few brothers and I started telling them, like, look, man, if I don't make it, like this is how I want my janazah to go. My wife is not a registered MGT. And I was like, during a time of pain, like, I just want to make sure I don't get no remix Islamic Christian community center funeral. Like, I'd have been to so many of them joints. They'd be like janazah service and they'd be like, all right, cool. Hit that T.I. one time. That was his favorite song. Like, I don't want that. Like, if I'm going to live my life as a Muslim, man, damn it, just bury me like a Muslim. The rights, the last and final rights of a Muslim is sacred, man. You know what I mean? Don't remix me. And I don't want no damn car wash with my face on a milk carton, putting money in it, and no go fund me. Now I had to get all that in order. I had to really analyze everything. I started picking out pictures and of me and family for the program to like this how I want to be represented. Because sometimes, man, you leave with your family, and I'm not talking about my wife, because I'm very confident that if I was to die today, she would give me the proper janaza that I deserve and that I would want. But I've seen a lot of times where, just little stuff like, man, your name, brother Abdul in the mosque, but on your program, it say like Charles, the godson. I'm like, who the hell is that? I want Khalid Muhammad. I want good pictures of me that represent the time that I spent on this earth. Then I started writing my obituary. And that was, I'll tell you, brother, you talk about pain. That was one of the most painful moments of my life to write. And I mean, to write an obituary about yourself, I didn't even know where to start. You know what I'm saying? Like, it took me a lot, and it was a lot of breakdowns. I was having a lot of crying and emotional breakdowns about it. But then also with the condition, I had low testosterone levels. Like, normal levels is like maybe like 500 to like 1200. My joint was like 85, producing very little testosterone. So I had more estrogen in my blood than I had testosterone. So like, I'd be at home watching Law and Order, and I just start crying. I just like, it's real. And I know it ain't real. But for years, I've suffered with that. I didn't know that was necessarily where it came from. I just thought Allah made me sensitive so I could feel the hurt of the people. That's how I tried to look at it, right? Mm-hmm. So with that, and then thinking of like, damn, and I ain't gonna be able to see my son walk across the aisle with somebody, college, like, I'm really about to check out of here. So dealing with all of that, man, when the minister called me on November 3rd at 9 a.m., 3 days before my birthday, he called me and I picked up the phone, and it was his executive administrative assistant, Sister Amina. And she was like, something like, Brother Collins, I'm in the bed now. She like, please hold for the Honorable Farrakhan. Man, I jumped out that bed. Literally, you'd have thought I had a parachute on. I jumped up, and I got bad service in my house. So those that are listening, if you call me and it's choppy, I'm at home. That's just what it is. I jumped up and went to the bathroom, opened the window. It was freezing that day, and I'm not dressed. And I'm just standing there. My damn arm was so cold, I couldn't even feel it. And the minister says, "I'm alaikum, Brother Khalid." I said, "Alaykum salam, sir." There we go, fronting again. He said, "How you doing?" I said, "I'm good, sir. Now I hear from you. All is well." Like, no, all is not well. Mm-hmm. He said, well is good, relatively speaking. But how are you in the physical? And man, it just broke me down. Hold on a second. So I talked to him. I told him about the physical pain. I said, I be in so much pain sometimes, Brother Minister, that even in intimate moments with my wife, I have to consider whether I even want to do that or not because of the pain I'll be in afterwards. Mm. This type of pain will make you obedient to restrictive laws. Ain't no infidelity or fornication. I'm going to tell you that right now. You get this kind of pain, that's the furthest thing from your mind. And maybe that was a good thing for me. So I talked to him about that. I told him what I experienced, and I talked to him about the doctors, and I told him what the lady said about him. And he got quiet, and he asked me, what name do you go by in the hospital, bro? I said, Khalid Muhammad. He said, He said, and this doctor is black. I said, no, it's a Caucasian Jewish lady. And the phone was like dead air. And he said, do you have a black doctor that's as qualified as that doctor that can tell you straight what you have? Because, and that question was based on a statement that I said, I've chosen to do nothing, Brother Minister, because my doctors are not on the same page, and I didn't know who to trust. And he said, what do you mean the same page, brother? And I told him that, and that's when he followed up with that question. And I said, no, sir, but I can try to find one. And he said, well, brother, I know a doctor that I trust. And if you write me quickly, I will read what you wrote. And Sister Amina was on the phone. And he said, I'm guaranteeing you that neither me or her will abuse your private information or disrespect it, which you send to me. I said, yes, sir. He said, are you comfortable doing that? I said, I'll do it right now as soon as we hang up. He said, okay, good. Get it to me quickly, brother. He said, there's so many things that steal my attention from other things. So I want to move on this fast. He said, but I apologize. And he apologized to me 6 times. He said, I would never make you wait 89 days to respond to something so serious like this. Mm-hmm. And I said, yes, sir. I know that. I said, I know that. And he kept going. He said, brother, man, as young as you are, he said, you are the first of my brothers that I have met that has suffered similar to me. Mm. And then he went to apologizing again. I said, man, I gotta give him some more details on this in my next letter. And he told me, don't hide anything from me, brother. Don't try to make it sound nice. Give me the actual facts. He said, I'm not that kind of doctor that you need for this, but I know one. So give it to me straight. He said, Allah does not permit me to give guidance on assumptions. I need the actual facts. I said, yes, sir, I'll do that. Now, that was Wednesday or whatever November the 3rd was. I think it was a Wednesday. So I started calling the hospital. I wrote my letter. My letter was 8 pages. I said, no, sir, you cannot do this to him. I'm telling them everything. Like, man, at one time I went to pee and I'm like, dude, we have to cut this down to some bullet points, chief. So it was 2.5, maybe 3 pages. I sent it over, and then I'm calling the doctor now. They giving me the runaround for the copy of my medical records. The minister wanted a copy of all of the tests that had been done. And I got it on, I think, Monday. I had next week and sent it to him. The minister called me on Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday. And he was so upbeat. Our first call was about 44 minutes. Mm. And he was so upbeat, man. He said, Brother Khalid. So, yes, sir, Brother Minister. He said, I'm on the phone with a doctor, Dr. Terry Mason. If y'all Google him in Chicago, he used to be the head of Chicago, the Cook County Public Health Department, as well as one of the chairs or heads of the Chicago University or something like that. Very renowned urologist. He's been a urologist since the 80s and has assisted and helped the minister in his health challenges. So there's not somebody that, he just knows of. The minister has been a patient of his in the past and uses him as a consultant, I believe now. So when the minister did that call, the first call, I wanted to ask him to pray for me, but I was terrified because I didn't want him to, I heard him say one time, he was like, don't ask me to pray for you, damn it. You got to get close to Allah. Pray for yourself. So I was like, I don't want him. I don't want him to yell at me. So I didn't ask. And I was so upset with myself. I was like, man, you're a damn fool. You should have asked. So, and I didn't want to look, like I was weak in faith. So I didn't ask. I didn't say nothing. So he got on that second call and he said, the doctor was giving me guidance for you, brother, but I didn't want to miss a word. So I asked him, would he stay on the phone and tell you? And he's on the phone, Dr. Terry Mason. I greeted him. And he said, yes, brother, I looked over what you sent the minister, and it is congruent with stage 1 testicular cancer. It does not look like it has spread out of the one testicle, and that is good. And he said, brother, time is not your friend. You have to make a decision on what you are going to do moving forward. And like, you need to make a decision like this week, like quickly. If your insurance, all that stuff's good, then, I would recommend, go ahead with the surgery. You may need 1 to 2 rounds of chemo after that surgery, but generally that surgery can get it. The minister he didn't interrupt him, but he spoke before me and he said, Doc, what will be the after effects of this surgery? Will he be able to produce children? Will he have, he was going in-depth questions. I said, I ain't think about some of this. And he, Dr. Mason said, well, no, brother, it is, he'll still be able to produce children as long as the right one is good. He'll be fine. They'll put like a prosthetic in for appearance or whatever, and he'll be good to go. We went so much as far as talking about storing sperm, and I didn't even think about that. The minister, brother, so wise, brother, so wise. When you got that kind of wisdom there, that you can write to him. Not that I got some special call his number type of thing, but you can write and keep writing until you get an answer. Why would I not reach out to him? So we're talking and he said, yeah, you can store your sperm cells and your semen or whatever if you want to for the future, just to be on the safe side. And, he was asking him about the opioids. He told him, he said, Doc, I have a concern that they're giving my brother a lot of pain medicine, but they're doing nothing for the cancer. And so he asked me what I was taking. And I'm like, man, I got a fentanyl prescription. I never filled that. I was very scared of filling it because I kind of saw some addictive like type of behavior within myself. And that's what I'm saying. You got to be honest enough with yourself to realize when something's not right, not just externally, but within you. When you're deviating, when you're going to the left of what you know is right, you have to be honest to be able to say, yo, I'm tripping. Like, this is not right. And I need to correct it. But sometimes we just say, man, Allah's God. And we leave it at that. He know my heart. He know my heart. Allah know my heart. Like, come on. That stuff is like, it's crazy. So, I told her, I said, man, morphine, oxycodone, Tylenol number 3, Vicodin, high dose morphine. Morphine, but Motrin. I was taking Benadryl. And yeah, I said it on another platform. In my writing to the minister, I told him that when I noticed one day that I popped a Norco and I wasn't even in pain, I said, man, why the hell I just take that? And I said, nah, that's not. No, sir. Because it would make me be able to sleep, alleviate the pain. So this is the deceptive intelligence. I'm going to take it now so I don't feel pain later. No, you're developing an addiction to this when you're taking it and you don't need it for what it's prescribed for at that moment. So when I noticed that somebody was talking to me about marijuana edibles, so I was like, nah, man, I'm cool. I don't smoke weed. I'm asthmatic. Y'all hear me coughing and whatnot. I was like, I don't mess with that. They're like, nah, just, you chew it up and you good. I said, all right. I told the minister, I started to take marijuana edibles to help me sleep and take care of the pain, but really to try to get off of taking these pills. So I was trying to get the lesser evil, so to speak. So it worked for a while. It worked good too. I wasn't like high, but I was able to just be super relaxed and just lay and just chill, and I can go to sleep. And I haven't had at that time, I'm pretty good now, but I haven't had sleep at that time, going through all those different emotions, the pain. I would be tossing and turning. My wife would be asleep perfectly. I would be trying to accidentally hit her so she could be up with me. So I'd be like, man, if I'm up, damn it, everybody's up. So, I'm like, for richer or for poor, you're supposed to be up with me. You know what I mean? Yeah. She's like, you good? I'm like, yeah. Then I'll try to be FYE. Yeah, I'm good. No God but Allah. She's like going back to sleep. Like, damn, you gonna leave me? You gonna go back to sleep? So, he never said anything about that part of my letter. He did tell me in the beginning, I read your entire letter, brother. And his only concern at that moment, and it's not to say that he's okay with that. I don't even want to misrepresent that, but that wasn't the most important issue at the time. And I wrote in there that I'm not taking this to be high. I'm taking this to get off of prescription medication that was starting to be forming habiting, but also habit forming, but to be able to function, because I'm getting 2 hours of sleep and then trying to conduct the whole day. And that's not, I'm falling asleep driving. Literally, that happened more than 4 times. So I'm like, man, I got to do something. So it started to work. Then it started to like hurt my kidneys. So I was like, I'm good on this. And so I was able to, at that time, I had been off the prescription medication. So it was easy for me to let that go. So I don't, you know what I mean? I don't do that. I was drinking red wine too. I was like, man, you know, there's some healing properties in this. And that would make me go to sleep, but it wouldn't cure the pain. So then I'd be right back up. So I was able to speak to that doctor. At that time, I was able to get off of that stuff. And that doctor, what he did in that call is what I would say was the first step of transformation in my life. Right before we hung up, I'm asked the minister to pray for me. No, don't do it. You're gonna look like a weak FOI, bro. You're gonna look like you ain't praying, like you ain't studying. He asked the minister, he said, Brother Minister, would you do us a favor? He said, would you pray over this young man before you go? And the minister said, oh, brother. He said, yes, I will. Thank you for asking me to do that and reminding me of my duty. And then here go my student mind. Here go me. Yes, sir, Brother Minister, I wanted to ask you, but I was too scared, sir. Now, I saw the words come on my mind. I said, why you just didn't shut up and let the man pray? Why you had to interject your stuff? You know what he said to me? Oh, why, brother? And I said, oh, damn. I don't want to tell him what you said. Remember that lecture, Brother Minister? You said, damn it, don't ask. So here's what I do. I said, I don't know, sir. I was just scared. That's first line number 1. You do know why. See, lying to yourself. So I said, I don't know, sir. I just was scared. He said, oh, no, brother. He said, that's my duty to do that. And he said, okay, let's pray. So he said to Al-Fatiha, brother, I listened to this prayer over and over again that got me through this time. I used to drive and play it in the car alone. And he said the prayer. He added words in at the end to the prayer. And the most, I don't want to say the most important, because all of it is important. But what stuck out to me was, now it's just the 3 of us on the phone this time. He said, and you said that if I wanted anything that I wanted, all I had to do is ask it in your name as the exalted Christ, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. He said some other stuff. Asked Allah to go ahead of my brother and choose his doctors for him. Let the doctors on that day work for the good of you and on your behalf and at your direction with their hands. And, oh Allah, you take charge of this brother's case and heal him 100%. Now, let me tell you something, brother. I'm not a liar. And I told several people, so I have several witnesses. I told the minister at the end of that call, and with tears, brother, I couldn't hardly speak. And when I listened to that call, I normally cut that part off of what I'm saying. I told him, I said, Brother Minister, after this prayer, I am more confident now than I've ever been that Allah in the person of Master Farad Muhammad will heal me like he healed my mother several years ago of cancer. He didn't say nothing. It was like dead air. And then he said, thank you to Dr. Mason. And it was like, Assalamu alaikum. I never got the yes, sir, because I was waiting on him to be like, yes, sir, he will. I didn't get that. So I was like, damn, I hope my confidence is good, because he didn't really, you know, like I said to somebody, you want the approval of daddy. So I'm like, if he say I'm good, I know I'm good. That was November. December, right? So that's the first prayer. The first call was November the 3rd, and the second one was November the 9th. I had just turned 36 in between that. So I told the brother, I said, man, I felt physically different for like the last 2 days, and I don't think I'll have to have the surgery. And I believe Allah will heal me. Now, I told this to several brothers, so I have several witnesses. I know what I felt, and I'm going to name these brothers. I told brother Robert 7 from Mines 27. I told brother Merlin from Mines 27. I told brother D9 on the E team. I told brother Sadiq, formerly brother Melvin on the E team. I told brother Sean in the Atlanta Mines, Medina Entertainment, a shameless plug. And in Mines 15, brother Sean. And, you know, most of the responses was like, yes, sir, praise be to Allah. You know, when is your surgery again? So, you know, and then I told brother Arv, you know, and he's just like, all right, you know, cool, son, just make sure, you know, whatever choice you do, you good. Most people do the natural things, sometimes they don't really work out. And I was just like, yes, sir, yes, sir. And then I had a brother in New York, brother Lionel. This brother, man, I have to thank him publicly. He, you know, I was going to do this for his assistance and help. He has been so consistent and sending me every damn juice that I can juice to kill cancer. Turmeric, apple seed juice, black seed with guava and watermelon. I mean, it was so much. I disabled my Facebook Messenger because it was nonstop. So then he started sending me links by text. I said, this dude, like, but it was only, and we had several arguments about it. I tell brother, you got to stop. But he would continue to go. And I just realized later it was out of his love and concern that the best he could do from New York is send me stuff that may help me. And it's not that I was rejecting him, but I was just determined on following whatever the minister said and relying on him. And not to say that what he was sending wasn't true or not beneficial, but I didn't want to hear anything from nobody else. Once I got in contact with that man, mind you, I went 89 days with no guidance, just my own thoughts. So thank you, brother Lionel. I would get I would get all that stuff. And December comes. The minister goes to Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm there to receive him. I'm there. I didn't get to see him because of where I was at. I didn't get to see him at all. So towards the end of that trip, I'm back, and I requested to see him. And he gave me permission to come to the palace to see him. And you talk about nerve-wracking, brother. And, you know, I get to the gate, and he was doing some stuff. I was at the gate for a minute standing out there. I said, damn, maybe I should wait in the car. So I'm like, man, you know, he busy. I don't want to just, I'm out here, man, 17 minutes, I'm counting. I'm nervous, heart racing. The gate opens up. I thought he was going to be there. He wasn't right there, though. So I see all the brothers that greet him. They search me. They're like, all right, come into the back. So I go to the back. Man, he's talking with another brother. So, you know, but I'm walking. I said, oh, wait a minute. Let me stand over here. I stand to the corner. And he said, come bring my brother. And man, the minister looks so beautiful, so lively, so vibrant. He was sitting at the pool, getting a tan and handling his business. And I got down on one knee to, like, you know, because he was sitting on the layout chair, you know, and he grabbed my hand. And when I got down, I damn near fell between the two chairs and the little table because I wasn't expecting. I just dropped straight down because I was trained when the minister's sitting down, you don't have him looking up at you. You come down to his level. That's a sign of respect, as we would do,
yes,
you know, anybody older than us, but definitely the Messiah.
Yes, sir.
So
yes,
he said, oh, he's like, oh, brother, you can have a seat. So brother Sadiq moves out the way, let me sit down. And it's just me and him at the pool talking. And he says to me, he said, brother, you waited 89 days to hear from me, your little brother. He said, Allah, because of your faith in Allah and in me, has already started to heal you.
Mm.
Cause I was like, damn, I'm free right now, or this, do I still need the surgery? I didn't ask none of that. I felt immediately at peace because I remembered how I felt after the prayer. So we talked maybe like a less than 10-minute interaction. So I talked to him about my wife. He gave me guidance on that, because he asked me how this was affecting. I said, well, she kind of thought I was wasting time waiting this, the time period to hear from me before making a decision. It was concerned about, like all my doctors, the cancer spreading. You know what he told me? And she's not wrong, brother. I'm looking like, wait, he ain't even registered, bro, minister. I'm the loyal follower. I give Saviors they give. You can't take her side. So in that, for me, it's a lesson for me. He said, brother, don't argue with her. Don't do that. He said, she loves you, and that's why she's responding like that. He said, but man, your faith is so strong that he went right back to it, that you would wait. Allah's healing you, brother. He said, I'm so glad to see how Allah's coming in your life in a personal way. And I'm just sitting there like, yes, sir. I'm listening and I'm hearing it, but in my mind, I still can't believe that. Like, because when I'm there, I'm like on post. It's a little different. But like to be there and receive direct counsel and guidance, and for him to tell me, he didn't say, I think Allah's healing you. I think he will help heal you. He told me Allah has already started to heal you. I didn't ask how, didn't even care. I was a little curious, but not to the point to ask the question. So I just say, yes, sir. And the minister's word, as Brother Abdul Rasul would say from the final call, is platinum. And it is. Everything he said he would do, he did it. Even to offering the doctor to pay him, because Dr. Mason is retired. And he told him, Doc, I know that you retired, but I just want to give you something for your time and for how quickly you responded to my call. And Dr. Mason said, brother minister, there's nothing that you could ask me to do that I could do that I wouldn't do. I can't take any money from you. And he said, and I say that not because of, and this is word for word. He said, I say that not because of where we have yet to go, but where we have already been. So you as my brother, I can't take any money from you. I'm like, damn, that like, what? So blew my mind. We talked, told him about my wife. He tells me, he says, brother, I must meet your wife at Savior's Day. And he calls Brother Wazir over on the E-team and says, brother, I'm telling this brother that at the Savior's Day weekend, I must meet his wife, the wife that he is bringing closer to faith by the demonstration of his faith. I know it's not a good time, but I must meet her. He said, yes, sir. And that, in fact, did happen on Monday, on the actual Savior's birthday before we left, which was the best experience of my life. And let me go back. So he said that to me. That is January the 2nd. I think it was, January the 2nd, he told me that. February the 12th was February the 13th was the day the surgery was scheduled to be. So I still was praying and hoping and just like, man, Allah got me. But I left the surgery there because you can't be spooky. Like, there's some things you may actually have to have a surgery for. I want to be very clear about that. So I don't want, people to write the minister and be like, can you heal me of diabetes? You can heal yourself of diabetes. Those type of conditions, bro, minister, I have headaches every 6 months. Can you heal me? So, you have to be practical, right? So practice your faith, but let's like be real. Like, you know what I mean? You don't want to write the minister like, yo, brother, minister, I had a bunion on my foot like, brother, just get it cut. Like, we don't got time for that. I'm not going to play with you today with this. So I don't want the minister to become inundated because it's a sin to abuse the ear of the messenger of God. You know what I mean? But this is like life and death. So I got a call from my mother-in-law, my wife, February the 12th, the day before. They're like, man, you got to call UCLA. They just called, said that they need to talk to you before 5 p.m. today. It's 4 o'clock. I'm working. I'm like, man, all right, whatever. I'll call. Doctor's out. I said, okay, so y'all call all these people. Ain't nobody there. They call a doctor. Doctor calls me from his car phone. He's like, man, Khalid, how you feel? I said, everything is good. I said, I'm ready for tomorrow. Got to be there 7 a.m. I know, no liquids, all that. He said, man, we don't do surgery for people without cancer. And I was like, what you talking about, Willis? Like, that was in my mind. I'm like, wait a minute, what? He said, man, all your pre-op testing that you did, we can't. Now, this is a tumor. It's not like lymphoma. It's not blood cancer. This is something that I could feel on my testicle. They cannot find it on the ultrasound, which paints a picture based off the sonographic waves that are produced, or the CAT scan that's more on depth. And the blood tests that show tumor markers that was once at like a 400%, all normal. They ran that test 3 times. They had Dr. Litwin, who is the professor and chair of UCLA Department of Urology. He had to authorize the cancellation of the surgery, and he's the one I spoke to. And so they told me, we can't find the tumor or any sign of cancer in your body, and gave me a letter for it. So, but they want me to participate in this study where they say that they would like to do research on my condition, as it would benefit the medical field significantly, because he told me I've never seen where someone has had all of the symptoms you have and what we see on our test to having nothing visible. And we ran it 3 times. That's a month after the minister told me, a little over a month after what he already told me, that Allah has already started to heal me. And if you go back a few months prior to that, I told brothers that I felt like I wouldn't have to have this surgery. So I had to rely on really communicating with the God and looking for him in hints and signs. That's what I really had to, for damn near 3 months before I even got the guidance. I had to lean on what I had, which was the basis of my foundation, which started in that same junior FOI class, that God is a man. And I got his name. I got his identity. I know what he looks like. I know what he's capable of. The God that can build a human-built planet and put it up in the sky and have the military astonished on how it maneuvers. The mind that built that. Now, that was years ago.
That's right.
Went up in 1910. You think Master Farad Muhammad is as intelligent, or is the same level of intelligence in 2024 that he was in 1910? So you believe in that God, but you don't believe that he can heal a cancerous condition? That don't make sense. We don't believe in a spook God, brother. It's the real, true, and living that left paradise in the holy city of Mecca to come check on some black people in Black Bottom, Detroit, Harlem, you know what I mean? Like in America. And he came to give us life and life more abundantly. And I'm a recipient of that. The minister asked for me to be healed. I was asking for a lot. I saw some things, but it wasn't like this. So there's no other way to justify this. God does what is looked at as the impossible to show that he is God. Cancer don't just disappear. This is a real thing. But the technology that's on the wheel, when the minister says, I'm going to the wheel to get healed, I never really understood that. Hell, most of us probably don't really understand it. We take it because he said it. Let's just be honest. And we believe in him, so it's like, all right, cool. But, your understanding is limited. My understanding of that now is so far in depth because I believe I experienced that. It's not a mystery God, so it ain't mystery healing. Master Farad Muhammad, Allah in person, Al-Mahdi, took charge and care over me and healed me of a condition that the doctors, none of them can take credit for this. That's how, in the letter, they wrote that this was an unexpected and miraculous. I didn't have to do surgery where they cut my body out. In fact, my sperm count is 100 million more than it was when I first started. My testosterone is up. Brother, I've been healed. I'm a walking witness of the healing power of God in a man, not no spook somewhere. I didn't have to die and go to heaven. I'm experiencing heaven right now, which is peace and contentment of mind to know that the God loves me and everybody out there that's listening that would want him to be your God. God don't leave us, we leave him. There goes that back at exploring stuff. So, I didn't have to do radiation. Imagine if I would have moved out of haste and just cut my body apart. Here you got a man we say is the Messiah who's been taught the book and the wisdom of the book, but we don't consult him. We just want to run scripture by him. Bro, minister, what you think about 2 Timothy? No, bro, minister, I'm dealing with something real. Man, brother. I mean, if you look at the work of the Messiah, brother, he has power to crush the wicked and to heal. That technology, that science that's on that wheel, brother, is one of life and death. It can absolutely be destructive, but it can absolutely heal us of our ailments and what we suffer. But it's the faith, brother. In our prayer, we say, my prayer, my sacrifice, my life, and my death are all for Allah. I have literally walked through that. So when the minister says, be careful when you say that, like, you don't know when Allah calls you on it. I was called on it because I had to go 90 days and really go introspective within myself to try to see, are you really the believer that you used to walk around as strong like you really think you are? You really that on the inside? See what I'm saying? But that's why I say I know Allah's been with me through my whole journey in life so far, bro. Because you don't go through something like this and come out the same. At least you shouldn't. So I was showing that my wife was able to live with me and see my faith, that I'm waiting on the minister. So much so that she told me she has no doubt that he's the Messiah. No, because, brother, I mean, he prayed and he asked twice and stated what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told him. Now, if that worked, then the man that told him that must be exactly who we believe him to be.
That's right. That's right.
And if he's, then that means Master Prophet Muhammad got to be the God. Because he did what would be considered the miraculous. You know what I mean? Like, none of these doctors can take credit for anything. I lost 50 pounds. So you have to do your part. Prior to this, in 2019, the minister and I had dinner, and he talked to me about a lot. And at the table, he asked me how much I weighed. Now, this I didn't say on any other platform. And he told me, when I told him my weight, he told me I was in the problem book. I was like, damn, I ain't never even read the problem book. Them problems is a little too hard, and I never was that great at math. So which problem you talking about? And he said it, and he started to talk to me about it, about the weight. And he said, brother, you gotta come down. I said, yes, sir. But like we all do. We said, yes, sir. But man, I don't know if I could have avoided this had I listened and took the guidance more serious. Because I told him that my son had about 4 dreams that I had a heart attack and died. And he said, brother, Allah is trying to talk to you through what you love. I was, I never had the heart attack, but 2 years later or 3 years later, I got the cancer. So I lost 50 pounds and I lost it so quick. I said, damn, I should have done this a long time ago. You can't play with I can show you the healing, but I can also show you there was guidance there. But you didn't act on it because you making money now, you big nigga. So you eating all day, doing what you want to do. Life is it's good, it's cushy. Like we good, we going on trips, you know what I mean? I'll say this, I didn't say this either, another one. During this time, the nation's on a travel ban. I said, well, everything real. I don't know if I'm going to make it. Took my behind to London and Paris. I left. I disobeyed. I left and went by myself and nearly died. Nearly died, literally. I had to call Brother Rudolph in Detroit, EMT, but he's so much more than that. I was on the floor in my hotel, laying in my own diarrhea because I took a train from London to Paris I was in London partying, just being a nigga, not obeying what we've been given. Took the train, called myself eating 1 meal a day. I don't know who the hell eats salmon off a train, but that gave me food poisoning. I got to the hotel, threw up on the front counter. I went up to the room, brother, and that stuff was coming out of every orifice in my body. I threw up more than 17 times. My blood pressure was so low, I was completely dehydrated. It took, brother, bro. I prayed so hard and apologized to Allah so hard for being a nigga and not listening to the messenger in our midst and playing games, because that's what it is. In the name of I'm going to live it up just in case I die. And that's why I started by saying obedience is the highest form of sacrifice. When you broke and you can't go nowhere, there ain't no damn sacrifice. You ain't got no money, you can't go nowhere. But when you got money to be like, yo, you know what? I'm going to London tomorrow, and that's what I did. I just left. I didn't take my wife or nothing. And then, I'm just going to go communicate with Allah. Man, I went out there and just partied. And it came to an end that almost ended my life. Like, I'm going to be honest. So I prayed so hard. Brother Rudolph told me, brother, you need to call an ambulance. Like, based on the pictures I sent him, I'm in the bed, laying in diarrhea. I was like, brother, I was done. My body was in so much pain. I was in the tub. I couldn't even get out the tub. I had to drain the water out so that if I lost consciousness, I wouldn't slip into the water and die. I was smart enough to do that. Allah gave me that. And I stayed there just letting everything out in the tub. I left the housekeepers a good tip. I really did. Because it was horrible. It was crazy. And the way I got through that, I didn't listen to Brother Rudolph. I channeled, and this is not spooky, but I literally followed my communication with Allah, however you want to put it. I got this hydration pack that I keep in a toiletry bag that I put in there just because. So that's what I thought. I had to crawl from the bed to the front door to get it. That took about 30 minutes to get from the bed to the front door to get that toiletry bag, brother. And that's when I knew I was in trouble because I couldn't even stand up. And as I'm crawling, there's a trail behind me. I got that pack and I had left it in there so long, some of it became hard like crystal. So I started banging it. I put in the little bottle of water they gave me and I survived off that little bottle and Imodium AD. Then I threw up the Imodium AD in the bed because I laid down. So I'm calling Brother Rudolph again. He is at work. We're on different time zone. I then prop up all the pillows and I sleep like this on pillows, sitting up. And I rebooked my flight to leave early that next day. Rudolph was like, man, brother, you're going to have an emergency on that plane. Don't do it, brother. What I'm seeing here from these pictures, you don't need to do that, brother. I said, Rudolph, I'm good. I woke up that morning like 7 a.m. and I said, man, I'm going to get on this 3-something flight and I'm going to do the best I can because I didn't want to get stuck in Paris. I don't speak that language. Them people rude as hell over there. So I said, I got to get back to America. I got all this other stuff going on. Man, I got to that airport and I'm telling you, Allah is God, bro. Even in my stupidity and my ignorance and to a degree of arrogance, because to disobey the messenger of Allah is arrogance. That's haughty. That's vanity. That's BS. And it could definitely cost your life. And Allah gave me mercy. I made it to the airport, dizzy, nauseous, had to act like everything was fine so they would let me get on the plane. Got in the flight. I was good for that entire 11-hour flight. Took a car home at the airport. That's like an hour-and-a-half ride from LAX. Got through the front door, threw up everywhere. Allah allowed me to get back home, brother. And I threw everywhere when I got in the house. My wife was like, God damn, you need to go to the hospital. I said, nah, I'm good. Allah's God. And I lay down for a minute and I ended up having to go to the hospital. And they had told me I was so dehydrated that my kidneys had started to shut down. But he let me make it home, brother. Now, how do you repay God that has showed so much mercy to you? How do you repay? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, with us that grew up in the nation, we may have never gone through stuff like that, but we all have experiences where we can say, man, Allah got me through that.
That's right.
How can we say Allah got me through that and then turn back to our Negro ways in the name of, I want to live my life, everything is real, Allah knows my heart. All them little stupid cliches that we say. Because like I said, growing up in this, that you didn't have to, you never probably ate no pork sandwich at your house. So for us, look at how they used to live. Like, yeah, that's the stuff my moms do. Like, you know what I mean? We ain't 16. We ain't got to fast yet. You know what I'm saying? We that grow up, we are so ungrateful if you think about it. Because, see, you won't value that if you never had to live like that.
That's right.
You never value your home until you are homeless living in a car. Then it's like, damn, I wish I could stretch out right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I experienced that too. So sometimes those of us that grew up in the nation, it's, you know, you so close to the light and the wisdom, you get blinded and you don't value it. And it take you having to go out in these streets and something happen, and then you be like, man, Allah's God. Then you be ready to submit. Why not just submit now on your own terms and go to work? And like I told my wife this morning, the other day, how do I repay God for taking cancer out of my body? However he did it. How do you repay him? The way you repay a God like that, or try to repay him, is to keep your word as bond when you wrote your letter. Go after the dead. Ain't 17 million. It's much more than that now. Give them the life-giving teachings. I'm not responsible for your degree and level of belief or practice. I'm only responsible for giving you a clear message and trying to be a good example of that word. That's it. Your belief is on you. I'm going to give it. So to help, we can't say he's the Messiah. I'm talking about the Min Farrakhan. And we're not helping all that we can. That man took time out of his day to get a doctor, get on the phone with me 44 minutes. The last one was just about an hour. Then see me in Phoenix, and then see me again in Detroit. How do I repay him for that? How can I? There's not no saviors they give. That's not, you know, man, that's not, the minister's not a money-hungry person. He gives more than he gets in the way of finance. He helps so many people. So that's why I wanted to come on here. You know, you asked me a while ago, a long time ago, to come on, but I didn't have nothing to say. Same thing with another platform. I had nothing to say. Anything I would have said at that time was just some vain BS about some car service that really don't mean nothing in the grand scheme of things. You repay and get favor with Allah by going after the people that he came from. So he came from the holy city, took off his holy robes to walk with some Negroes from Crenshaw Boulevard. And we can't come 30 minutes away to go to the mosque that he set up to go teach those people basic Islam 101. So what if the minister there may not be like your cup of tea, or you heard that already? It ain't for you. You get the word to go give it and be an example and spread that word and bring them people in. We building a nation. We're not building a little mosque. That's the little start. That's little infancy type stuff. I want to be an ambassador for the nation. There ain't no post in the Constitution for ambassadorship. But what nation do you know that don't have an ambassador that goes and meets with different consulates at different embassies? That's one of my goals. That ain't no position. So I'm not thinking just captain, lieutenant, minister. That's good. That's a start. But that's not the ultimate finish line or goal. So the way you repay him is through service to his people and obedience to his word through the Messiah, not just saying it with your lips. So I had to learn, brother. Say, damn, you ain't even gonna die from cancer. You're gonna die from food poisoning in Paris. When the minister told us don't leave the country, you go with this, yeah, you know, everything real though. He did give me permission to go on this other tour. So, you know, he never told me I had to come back by a certain time. That's Negro stuff. That's Satan and myself. That's vanity. It's BS. And really what it is blatant hypocrisy. When you get a direct instruction from the Messiah and you intentionally disobey it for your own BS excuse, that's hypocrisy. And you got to be able to call it like it is within yourself. Because we'll gladly call it in somebody else. Man, that brother tripping. He got a problem with the minister, man. He look, he don't even put on a suit no more. Look at Josh. Josh got on baseball hats. He ain't got no FOI.
Thank you, Khalid. Thank you for that.
Yeah, he ain't active. You know what I'm saying? Now, all of that stuff has a place, it has a value, but man, what about you? What about your stuff? You sneaking over here, dipping over here, you know what I'm saying? So you got to be able to call it like it is so we can get back on that straight path, man. So that's been my experience. Monday, when we met with the minister on February 26, 2024, he told me that that through this and me waiting 89 days to hear from him and relying on my faith in Allah and in him, that I've proven to him and Allah that I'm a faithful, righteous Muslim. I'm still trying to figure that out myself, brother. I say all praise is due to Allah, and I don't negate it because he sees more in me than I see in myself at this moment. So I take that with great humility and say I'm striving to live up to that. I do not take that as though I'm there. I'm not going to do that because I know me and I don't want to get carried away with myself. The human being is not made to take praise. So I say all praise is due to Allah, because even after this, when I do leave this earth, brother, you know, I'm just like a speck of something that was here in time, unless I do something to serve a greater cause and a bigger cause, which is to help establish the Nation of Islam and help the work. Because we are all here. You and I know each other based on the minister's faith. Your parents know Islam based on the minister's faith. Everyone in the Nation of Islam at this particular time, you didn't come in when Elijah Muhammad was amongst us. You came in under the minister and his teaching. This nation is started on his faith. But now it's time for us to exercise our faith and help carry this nation to the next level. When we hear Nation of Islam, the people shouldn't just think of Minister Farrakhan. They do, right? Because he outworks every last one of us in this nation. Ain't a laborer in the Nation of Islam. I don't care if you're on the executive council, national, regional, whatever. Ain't nobody outworking the Honorable Minister Farrakhan. Right. When they say Nation of Islam in the street, they think of him. They don't think of me. So my job now is to try to help alleviate that burden of the mission of the resurrection of the dead on a daily basis and be consistent with that, man. So he said some words to my wife. I won't put up the picture of her crying because it was such a special moment. But whatever he said to her was life-changing. I can tell you that for a fact. And then my son wanted to remind him when they met in the airport. He didn't quite remember that, but, you know, they had a great exchange, brother. And I thank him for taking time. I think I was either the last meeting or one of the last meetings he had on Monday before he left. And prior to that, he had a 2-hour meeting with another group. That was after he 3-4 hour message the day prior. So it just goes to show you, man, the minister's always working, you know, always working, has a grueling and a taxing schedule on a regular basis. Phone, in person, Zoom, whatever. And he makes time for the believers who are the beloved of God. Now we have to make time to help him and alleviate the burden off of him. So that's pretty much my experience, man. I'm sorry to be long-winded, Josh, but you took me there.
No, you're great. You're doing great, Brother Khalid, and you're helping heal so many of us. All praise due to Allah, and people are showing you love all around the world. Can't wait to put it on YouTube. Shout out to Sister Trinashe, Brother Fred said Allahu Akbar. Some people saying Sister Khadij Bay, come on. Thank you, Sister Miriam, Sister Naima. Thank you so many people who continue to watch and show love to the People's Podcast. People saying this is beautiful. Teach. Thank you all very much. 2 more questions for you, Brother Khalid, and man, we get to go. This is you, man. This is great. First of all, on a lighter note, Brother Khalid, what's your favorite album of all time?
Oh man, are we talking R&B or hip hop?
Any album.
Damn, bro. I don't know, man. Hold on a second, man. We live. Give me 1 minute. Let me look at. I got somebody, but I don't know like the name of the album, but I can listen to the whole thing straight through. So I gotta go to title. Let me go to title. Let me see what's over here. Where's my boy at? Vito, number 7. I'm an R&B dude. Vito,
Okay.
the 7. You can't play none of them songs on here, but they but I like it. Man, yeah, I would have to say that. And then if you want to do rap, hmm, I'd have to say 444 because Jay-Z was so transparent in that album with everything that was going around, and he didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? And I caught a lot of gems in there. So I think it's his most vulnerable, most transparent, and real album. Like, I don't care about Poppin' Crystal and Big Pimpin' like that. That stuff don't matter, bro. It don't. Like if you listen to that song and listen to any of them songs on the new album, on 444, that's a different mindset there. You know what I mean? Like you coming out of vanity. I'm not saying you all the way out, but you're on your way out into something that's a bigger purpose. So I would say on the hip hop side, 444, I would say Vito number 7. And yeah, I like Summer Walker too, Mario, Eric Bellinger. I'm an R&B.
Okay.
So, yeah, those would be the yeah, too, man.
This is why I enjoy doing the People's Podcast, because I learn more about the people who grew up in the nation with us and been around. I would never know you was in R&B, right, Khalid? So shout out to that as well.
Oh yeah, man, please. What? Then I'll take you back to doo-wop in the 50s, bro. I spend records for real, for real. The music is my thing.
Okay, so you didn't know. I didn't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Praise be to Allah. Okay, and I also want to say once again, Brother Khalid, on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast, we thank Allah for you and your many sacrifices to help establish Islam here in North America, but also the sacrifice of your wife, your son, and the sacrifice of your family and loved ones. Man, we didn't know any of this. Well, I didn't know any of this. So to see you come through and still be strong, praise be to Allah. All praises due to Allah. Thank you, everybody who's watching. Brother Khalid, one more question for you. Also, this has been my we starting the year off, we coming out swinging. This has been my Club Shay Shay Cat Williams interview right here. Like you came out like this is the one. You done gave us so much in one interview. So praise be to Allah. Thank you for that. Our last question for you today, because we're gonna make this a series. We gotta get Brother Khalid to come back, inshallah. But what would you like your legacy to be, sir?
Damn, Josh, how you going? Oh man, man, I didn't even think about that. I don't know about legacy. But man, I want to just be remembered honestly as a good brother and a fierce protector and fighter of the believers, for the believers. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. In that 2019 meeting with the minister, is where he told me to go to law school and then to go up to becoming a judge and stop right there. Had I moved out on that instruction right away, it's possible that I could be a lawyer right now on this ADL case. And I waited a year to get onto that, to start going to school. Presently, I'm at San Diego State studying criminology with a minor in forensic science. So I'm on my way to law school, and I know that this case is going to take a while, and I look forward to being able to help to give them the business in that courtroom.
Yes,
That's
sir.
my passion. Like, I really hate the fact that I waited to follow his directive. I didn't know nothing about no lawsuit and none of that stuff, but I know that we are going to have to fight. And so physical fighting is one thing, but man, brother, we need a team of young, fierce lawyers that have no fear and that love Allah and his messenger and the Messiah in our midst to help to fight. And that's what I want to be remembered for, brother. I can't really say legacy. If you qualify that as legacy, that's fine. But man, I just want to get in the courtroom. I'm gonna just keep it honest with you, brother. I read that entire lawsuit in one day. Exhibit, everything, bro. And I was like hype. I'm like, brother, like in my bag, I got the book. I keep the book with me, bro. Like I got everything. It's in the bag with the iPad and the computer. I keep it with me. I'm like, damn, if that was me, man, how would I attack this? How would I? And I'm like, damn, dude, you need to be on the legal team. Like, yeah, but you waited. You was a little slow. But this won't be the first of this kind of a battle. So
That's right.
I look forward to the help, continue my parents' work, brother, and those attorneys that are on the case now. God, Brother Art, Brother Michael, Sister Michelle, Sister, I think her name is Sadia Kareem out of Texas. All
That's
those
right.
people are inspirational to me. Sister Amina, those people that are on that legal team, I think her name's Sister Pamela, that we have in the nation are so inspirational to me. I sit back like a child and watch them in awe, brother. Awe, brother. Because I'd be wishing, like, man, like, you know, back in the day, WWE, tag me in, tag me in. I'm just like ready to get in there. So that's what I want my legacy to be, man. That I was an FOI, not just a Muslim. Anybody can be a Muslim. Everybody can be an FOI. Because that's not common thing. You take your Shahada, Allahu Akbar, in 5 minutes you Muslim. But to be an FOI is a process that you have to endure to go through to come out on the other side as God. Master Farad Muhammad, our God, came to not make us a nation of followers, but a nation of gods, and to establish government of peace. So, you know, brother, there's some difficulties in fighting that's going to have to go on to establish that government and to get to the level where we can say we really are FOI. We have one premier historian FOI, and that's the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, our guide and Messiah to not just us in the nation, but to the world, whether they want to accept it or not. So that's what my legacy I would like to be remembered as: a believer, a good brother, and a fighter, and no one that didn't, you know, I ain't take no stuff for the nation, bro. That's it, really. Other than that, all that other stuff, the business, I mean, that's cool, but that's cars, bro. Anybody can get cars and drive and get contracts. That's nothing. It really isn't. Like most of them cars I drive, the people that I'm driving, they have them cars at home and they drive them. So like it's nothing really special. I don't want to downplay it, but in the grand scheme of establishing Islam in our nation, and that's just a job. Honestly, it's just a form of income. You know, I enjoy self-employment or whatever, but it's not more important than the work. It's not. So the biggest star I've ever been with, the Honorable Minister was Farrakhan. Because that man I give my life for without hesitation, without a doubt. I don't have to think about that. Not at all. Because I've already put my life in his hands in a physical way and a spiritual way. And I know that he won't drop me. He truly will get me to the other side and won't say, look what I have done, but he'll say, look what Allah has done. That's how I want to be remembered, as a helper of his.
Beautiful.
Josh, can I say something?
Yes, sir.
I want to just publicly thank my wife, Melissa Muhammad, my son Ali, my son Isaiah, my daughter Anaya, for their support, and my mother and so many others. I'm trying to think that have helped me through this journey and other journeys, and those that have helped me develop as a Muslim and as a man. So I just wanted to thank those. My wife she's been putting up with me for a long time now. So I thank her for being there. And as a nurse professionally and my nurse personally, she sacrificed a lot, brother, since we've been together. A lot. Been a lot of times that things have happened. I haven't necessarily been home. That I probably should have been home for some things. And she's found a way to see the best and settle on the best opposed to focusing on the negative of that situation. And so I really thank her. And my children, my sons have had me. I mean, my sons have stepped up in a way that I couldn't even see. My son Ali is 11 and Isaiah is 18, towering over me at 6'5". And they ain't know for a while what was going on. Ali found out 2 weeks before Savior's Day. And when I told him, I said, how did you feel if I had cancer? He said, well, you always pray to Allah, so you'll be fine. And he just walked away. I said, damn, I didn't even, like, do you still care about me? No. But I got told the minister in front of him, I'm like, he had more faith in Allah at that moment than I did. So one of my part of my legacy is to establish Islam and put it in my children that no matter what goes on, man, just remember Allah doesn't leave us. We leave him when we stray from the straight path, what we know. And then the rest is up to you. So yeah, man, I just wanted to say thank you, to everybody that's been there for me. And I still have to go get tested monthly. But I have no doubt in my mind that I'm good. I feel fine. I did tell you I lost 50 pounds, so all these suits is kind of big, brother, looking kind of fine now. And you know what I'm saying? And I feel so much better having lost that weight. And I'm not done, brother. Minister told me you don't see a lot of fat old people living a long time, brother. So you want to be down at your, he told me go 20 pounds lower than your fighting weight. So when you get older, as you naturally put on weight, as that weight comes on, you'll still be right at your proper weight and in shape. So you allow yourself cushion when you're younger to gain that weight, but it won't affect you negatively, as negatively. So yeah, man. Thank you, Josh. Man, I appreciate it, brother. And I'll come back anytime and talk about car services and all that stuff. And whatever else you want to talk about. I appreciate you for giving me the opportunity to share my experience and its truth and to bear witness about God's healing power through his Messiah. You can't get that without him. You can't take one and not the other. Like some of them that say, I'm with the messenger, but if you ain't with the Honorable Mr. Farrakhan, you are not with the messenger. You're not following. I could be a Muslim in my drawers. That's cool, you could, but you can't be no FOI at home like that. FOI, it requires work. You know what I mean? So you might be a Muslim, but you ain't no FOI. So hey, this is premier. FOI is premier. That's top. That's the Ritz Carlton, right? Anything else is like Fairfield Inn. So that's what it is, man. So I thank you, Josh. I appreciate it, man. Please give greetings to your family, and I appreciate them and the sacrifice and work of your father and the believers at Mosque 15. And I'm at your service, brother, at any time.
Praise be to Allah. And thank you. Mimi says, thank you. This has been beautiful. Thank you, Mimi. And thank you, Sister Muta Muhammad. Such an amazing testimony. So many people can't wait to upload this to YouTube. Brother Khalid, I've always respected you, but I've even gained a better understanding of you. And once again, shout out to you and your family. Shout out to Sister Barbara. She's in my heart. I love Sister Barbara. I love your moms, bro. She's always one of the kindest people you ever going to meet. So shout out to your moms as well. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam.
Thank you all for watching.